Hello to my friends and family. As you know, I just completed my 30-day Bikram yoga challenge, and I'm very excited, but more so than excited, I feel very accomplished. Doing a challenge like this, it takes the type of discipline and the day-to-day motivation and stamina and the feeling that you get when you finish doing something like that. It's something that's hard to replicate anywhere else. And so that's how I feel. I feel especially accomplished finishing this 30-day challenge. The things that I loved about the challenge that I wanted to recap was one, how I felt physically. It's like 90 minutes every day to stretch out your body, and 90 minutes dedicated to work on yourself, whether it be strength, flexibility, any of the various physical benefits that you get from doing yoga or doing any type of physical exercise. That was one thing I loved about it. Another thing I loved about it was the trickle-down effect that it had in my life, because when you spend 90 minutes and when you take the time to put forward and exercise and spend that much time on exercise, it trickles down into other parts of your life. I didn't eat like crap. At the end of the day, like I didn't want to counteract all the good deeds I had done to my body by eating something awful, or drinking too much, or aside from drinking and eating, just doing various things that are unhealthy to your body, staying up late at night. I found that this Bikram yoga, just because I had to be more conscious of my time, and I had to be better at managing the various activities and tasks throughout my day in order to make time for the almost 2 hours it took each day between the class and the shower and the going back and forth. And so that's the other thing that I loved about it. Aside from how it made me feel, I just loved the trickle-down effect of all the other benefits that I got by taking the time to do it each day. Finally, kind of back to the physical benefit, I'm happy to share with you that I weighed myself, and I went from 201.5 pounds. I had to throw in that extra 0.5, okay, because it makes a difference. 201.5 pounds at the beginning of the month to 187.2 pounds. I just stopped by a 24-hour fitness and got down to my boxers in the locker room and weighed myself, because that's how I had weighed myself at the beginning. I couldn't have, at the beginning I was in boxers, and so I couldn't have shoes and clothes and jeans adding to my weight. And so what is that, 201.5, 187 is like almost 15 pounds. And so that's an incredible feeling. Now, to be fair, a lot of that weight loss I can give credit to the ridiculous amount of walking and hiking that I did for the 30 days. All right, so yeah, I don't want you to think, if you're watching this, that you can do a Bikram yoga 30-day challenge and also lose almost 15 pounds. For me, it was, I must have safely done over 200 miles of walking and hiking during the 30 days, but probably, to be fair, it was more than 250. I just, I don't want to exaggerate, but to be fair, it was probably 250, or at least close to it, because I was doing minimum 5 miles a day, oftentimes more than 10 miles in a day. And so that was a fantastic added benefit to doing this class or doing this challenge, and I feel fantastic for that. Now, of course, the next challenge is going to be keeping that weight off. If you've been reading my blog for several years, you see that, and like my friend Corey jokes, I seem to be losing that same 15 pounds over and over again. And so, I'll try to actually keep it off this time. The things that I did not like about the challenge, is obviously the heat. You heard me complain about the heat almost every single day, especially after that humidity machine was added to the studio, and that to me was just awful. It's like, heat is one thing, no circulation is another thing, but adding that humidity machine, it really made the challenge more difficult for me. That came into the picture on day 13, and so I had like the final half of the challenge with the added humidity that I wasn't used to. And I guess in a normal Bikram room, it's going to be 105 degrees and 40% humidity. But even if it's anywhere near that, if your particular studio is different than that, anything over 100 degrees to exercise, and it's difficult. And so I just, I want you to know, if you've never done this before, what to expect. It is tough, but you can get used to it. Clearly I complained about it, but I got through it, and I think that's the point. There's a lot of things to complain about in life, but sometimes you just have to persevere, and you can get through it, because you as a human being can literally do anything you want in 30 days. There's nothing you cannot do if you set your mind to it in 30 days. Now, granted, that's I don't want you to take me too literally and say there's nothing you can't do. That's obviously not true. I just mean that, it's within your capabilities, and it's within your discipline to make anything happen for 30 days. It takes a little bit of hit to do something like this to your social life. It definitely affects your work life. And like I said, I had to be more on top of my activities and my time management in order to make room for this in my schedule. Lucky for me, I've got the type of job and the type of flexibility that could allow for this. But the heat was one thing, like I said, that I bothered me about it. And the time commitment, I think, was the other biggest challenge. But in the end, I'm really glad I did it. And this is the second 30-day challenge for Bikram that I've ever done. The last one was 2.5 years ago. And so, I didn't know what to expect. I'm a different person. I'm a different body 2.5 years later. I had gained some weight. But on the other hand, I'm also a lot healthier, than I was 2.5 years ago. And so that made a big difference. I could just tell in my breathing right away between now and 3 years ago how much my lungs have recovered, and how much how much more room for aerobic activity I have in my life than I did before. And so I hope that you enjoyed following along with me. I really appreciate everyone who did follow along with the challenge. If this is the first time you're seeing this video, maybe you found it on YouTube or something, check out the link in the description below, and you can see a day-to-day account. I documented the entire journey, start to finish, and I was pretty honest with my documentation. I didn't beat around the bush. I said the good days and I said the bad days. I said the positive things and I said the negative, because I didn't want to just make this a glorified version of what a 30-day Bikram yoga challenge is like. I wanted to make this an actual account of what happened and the things that influenced me, the foods, my hydration. And so moving forward, the one thing I'm going to be very careful of is not just keeping the weight off, but also staying hydrated. Forgot to mention this earlier, but that's really the third thing that I loved about the challenge, is just the trickle-down effect of staying so hydrated. I was drinking at least 3 to 4 bottles a day at the beginning of the day, and probably another 3 to 4 bottles a day at the end of each day or throughout the day. And so you can't, like, that type of hydration is really easy to get used to, and I don't want to see that disappear just because I'm not sweating in a room for 90 minutes each day. So I'm going to be very conscious of not only the foods that I eat now. I don't want to get off this strict diet, but also the amount of water that I drink every day. And so look forward to my next challenge. Add me on Facebook. I'll probably be documenting the next challenge on Facebook too. Not quite sure what it's going to be. I'm taking a few day break in between 30-day challenges, but whatever the next 30-day challenge is going to be, it's going to be amazing. And I appreciate you following along, and I hope that this motivates and inspires you to start one of your own. All right, have a great day. I love you guys. Bye.